Seeing that Blue Lock is a show about the competitive sport of football, where scoring is quite literally everything, you already know that shooting has to be one of the most important weapons in Blue Lock. And so, in today's video, and skipping any introductions, we are going to rank the top 10 players when it comes to shooting. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the best shooters in Blue Lock. Starting up straight at number 10, we have Yuki Mia Kenyu. Now, before we actually get to his shooting, I gotta say that with this video, I've recently made 3 top 10 videos, and Yuki made it to all of them. Sure, he definitely was in the last places, but I found it interesting that he made it to all of them. However, when it comes to his shooting, prior to the Neo Egoist League, he definitely would not have made it to this list. However, ever since the Manshine City game, Yuki has been modifying his shots and has been introducing a lot of new weapons that help him into building his shooting ability. Mainly the Predator Eyes, of course, and him actually copying Chris Prince's knuckle shot. And if you actually notice, these two weapons are quite the opposite of each other. The first one, the knuckle shot, is all about being irregular, while the Predator Eyes is all about precision and all about squeezing the ball through a tight space. And this is the exact reason why Yuki makes it to the list, because these two techniques actually give him a lot of options when it comes to shooting. Unlike before, where his gyro shot, despite being very impressive, was rather slow and not powerful, and so it got stopped a lot of times by a plethora of players. And actually, from those setbacks, Yuki was able to develop these two weapons. And as I said, they serve completely different purposes. The first one is great when his courses are completely shot, because Yuki could simply throw a gamble shot that actually takes the whole defense by surprise. Or if the defense is sloppy and there are cracks in their numbers, he could pull a page from Kaiser and Baru's books and do a stealth kill shot. However, I think that's it for Yuki, because his shots are still a bit weak and slow. I mean, don't get me wrong, his shooting ability is definitely top tier. However, I think it fits perfectly as the 10th spot. Coming up at number 9, however, is Kunigami Renske. Now, Kunigami is kind of the polar opposite of Yuki. His shots are actually extremely powerful and extremely fast, which make them one of the most dangerous shots in the show. However, when it comes to Kunigami, I feel like they are way too simple. He simply shoots the ball straight ahead, and as we have seen in the Neo Egoist League, top tier goalkeepers won't let you score that easily. However, the only reason why Kunigami is higher than Yuki is actually due to his ambidexterity, which, as we will see on higher spots on this list, ambidexterity might be the single most OP weapons when it comes to opening your options. Simply because ambidextrous players are ready to shoot with either leg, and so presses from one side don't really bother them that much. And I feel like with his insanely powerful and insanely fast shot, being ambidextrous definitely makes it one of the most threatening shots in the show. However, and speaking of ambidexterity, coming up at number 8 is Isagi Yoichi. Now, I know a lot of you guys might think that I am crazy for putting Isagi here. I mean, he definitely has the most conditional shooting ability in the show. However, that was the case prior to the Uber's game. Much like Yuki, Isagi was able to identify the weakness of his shot very accurately, and he was able to work tirelessly on alleviating that shot. And the result is that Isagi's shot right now is actually not that conditional. In fact, in terms of conditioning, Isagi right now is one of the best, maybe beaten only by the likes of Nagi, Shido, and Rin. However, what am I talking about here? What weapons did Isagi acquire that made his shot this threatening? Now, I've seen a lot of people talk about his metavision and his ability to slip past the defense as if it helps in his shooting numbers, and that's definitely not the case. Because Isagi's ability to slip by and his ability to read the field has always been present with him ever since the first game in Blue Lock. And him acquiring metavision and getting to the next level really did not change much when it comes to his shooting. What actually did is him learning to be somewhat ambidextrous. You see, even though his left shot is 40% of his righty shot, that is actually enough for him to score most of the times, even when being barely outside of the penalty box. And I honestly feel that that's definitely an impressive range when it comes to an ambidextrous shot. However, Isagi did not stop there, he actually took it a step further. You see, even when he is pressed from both sides, Isagi still found a way in order to score with either leg. And that's all due to his double gun technique. You see, his ability to juggle the ball in the air and then deliver a very powerful and accurate shot is rather impressive, and honestly takes ambidexterity to the next level. And that's the sole reason why he beats Kunigami. Despite Isagi's shot being inferior to Kunigami's powerful and fast shot, the fact that Isagi's shot gives him so much more options than Kunigami, and the fact that he uses ambidexterity far better is definitely a testament to how strong his shooting ability became after the PXG game, and definitely makes him very deserving of being at number 8. Now, the reason I'm not placing Isagi any higher is actually due to the fact that his shots are direct and lack in versatility when it comes to their trajectory, unlike players who are higher on this list who can curve the ball however they like. At number 7, however, we actually have a tie between the two best friends, Rio and Nagi. Now, they are actually tied, but it is definitely for two completely different reasons. You see, when it comes to Nagi, the guy has shown an insane accuracy ever since the first selection, coupled with the fact that he has the best conditioning in the show. The fact that when he is motivated, not any defense in the show can stop him is a testament to that. And also, I feel like the fact that you can't really tell how Nagi will shoot, and the defense can't really tell what he is doing is a testament to how crazy his shooting ability is. And I feel like Shido could have fit in this spot had it not been for his low accuracy outside of the penalty box, where on the contrary, Nagi when motivated is simply unstoppable. However, as I said, his partner in crime Rio is this high on the list for different reasons. You see, when it comes to versatility in shooting, no one, and I mean no one, beats Rio, not even the pros we are going to see up on this list, maybe with the exception to one. And I mean, we've seen Rio do anything that could be done. He was able to easily pull off Chigiri's golden zone, he was able to do acrobatic shots like Shido, Nagi and Isagi, and honestly, he can do it all. I mean, with 99% copy rate, the only limiting factor to Rio is his own imagination. And this is the reason why he is on the same level as Nagi, because Nagi's originality is much stronger than Rio's. However, and honestly, Rio's copying ability is just busted, and the only reason he is not higher on this list is the fact that he cannot copy the players higher on this list with 100% accuracy, as we've seen it happen in the Manshine City game. And so, let's talk about those, because coming up at number 6, we have Baro Showy. Now, to be honest, Baro's shot has it all. I mean, it has the range, accuracy, power, speed, you name it. Baro's shot quite literally has everything with the exception to the conditioning. However, and I feel like this is to be expected, because Baro is the gatekeeper towards insane shooting abilities. And honestly, it is just beautiful and poetic, because this insane shooting ability only came to existence due to Baro's insane training regime ever since he was a kid. To me, this shooting ability represents that hard work definitely pays off. And also, and if we want to talk about Baro, we gotta talk about the Predator eyes. I mean, he has the best Predator eyes we've seen in the show, with both the goalkeeper and the goal course hunting abilities. And by the way, I definitely was thinking of putting Sai on Baro's level. However, we all know that he is a midfielder and he doesn't like to shoot that often. And so I decided not to include him here. However, if we were to include him, he would definitely be on Baro's level. But, and speaking of the Ittoshi family name, at number 5 we have Rin Ittoshi. Now, think about Rin as the same as Baro. However, where Baro is better when it comes to conditioning, Rin definitely clears him when it comes to accuracy. But ever since he got into his berserker state, Rin's insane dueling ability completely alleviates the conditioning weakness. I mean, before, the best way to stop Rin was actually hold him from shooting due to the time he takes preparing his shot. However, this honestly doesn't work in the berserker state because Rin will be crashing into you if you try to do anything to him. And also, as we've seen recently, Rin also has the Predator eyes, which definitely takes his shooting ability even further. And so, and I honestly mean it, Rin's shot right now is the definition of perfection. And I hear you asking, what could actually beat perfection? Well, another perfection, because coming up at number 4 we have Chris Prince. Now, when it comes to stats, Prince has 100 in his shooting, meaning that much like Rin, when it comes to accuracy, range, power and speed, or whatever metric you wanna use, Chris Prince has perfect score in that. And from that, Prince became the default perfection when it comes to shooting. However, if Prince and Rin are perfection and Prince only beats Rin because he is a pro, who actually would beat these two beasts? Well, much like I said in Speed, perfection is only beaten by anomalies. And when it comes to shooting, there isn't a bigger anomaly than number 3, Michael Kaiser, with the fastest winning shot in the world. Not in the U20 category, in the whole world. Kaiser is the definition of a fast kill shot. And I know what you might say, that stat-wise Kaiser has 98 when it comes to shooting, while Prince was rocking his 100. And so how is Kaiser better? Well, two reasons. The first is that those stats were before the PXG game and before the Magnus technique. And secondly, the stat system in the Neo Egoist League doesn't really account for everything. It favors easy to quantify stats like power, speed and whatever. However, when it comes to anomalies like the Predator Eyes, it fails to measure things like that. And as I said, Prince beats almost everyone because he has the most powerful and the fastest shot in the show. However, as we've seen from Noah, even the most powerful and the fastest shot in the show could be stopped by blocking the trajectory, something that doesn't work quite well on Kaiser, especially due to his Predator Eyes and recently due to his Magnus technique. You see, while the regular Kaiser impact is devastating, as I said in the Isagi part, it is still a direct shot, which players with insane perception and agility like Lorenzo could stop them easily. The Magnus technique completely alleviates this issue, because if his direct course is blocked, Kaiser could simply take the long way and score with a trajectory like none other. But again, if Kaiser is this impressive, and if Kaiser is that much of an anomaly, who can even beat him? Well, buckle up, because coming up at number 2 we have the man of the hour. We have the best striker in the world, Noel Noah. Now, when it comes to every stat that matters in shooting, from accuracy, range, power, speed or whatever, Noah definitely rivals Prince. I still think Prince has the edge here, however Noah is close by. But where Noah completely destroys Prince and completely destroys Kaiser is definitely with his ambidexterity. You see, everything great about Noah's shooting is actually doubled because he is a perfect ambidextrous player. Unlike Isagi or Kunigami, who aren't completely ambidextrous, Noah can use both of his sides with 100% efficiency, meaning that when it comes to shooting, no one forces the ball better than Noah. Well, no one except the number 1 spot on our list, which is Pablo Kavas. And honestly, the label of the best free kicker in the world should tell you everything. Because this means when it comes to simply shooting, he is the best without any doubt. And also in his match against Rin's team, we've seen him utilize a plethora of techniques to vary his shots immensely. And for that reason, he takes the number 1 spot on our list. However, that's the video for you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, thank you for watching.